light goes out. And it gets rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude for those who at times have lit the flame within us. Albert Schweitzer said that. As we gather into this sacred space together, just take a deep breath and begin to draw yourself present here. I would say on this Halloween time, all of yourselves present here. And settle into this sacred space, knowing that you and your energy are what creates it and makes the magic happen. So we welcome all of you. Thank you for being here. And now we'd like to also welcome some special ones in our midst, who are the ones who are 18 and under. They're like Halloween, but we talk about them here in a way that makes us less scared. And we work on things that might be frightening to us to bring them into a zone of love and acceptance and fun even. And this Day of the Dead, this Dia de los Muertos, as it's said in Mexico, doesn't really originate in a place of fear or scariness. Really, it's coming from a place of celebration and connection with those loved ones who have gone on to the other dimensions. So in Mexico, on this day, they do a lot of fun things, and the kids are all dressed in skeleton costumes. Did you know that? And they make these little cakes that have skeletons on them, and candies, and even toys.
I know. I didn't say that. Naughty's good.
Re-enlivening them dead bones. That was no ordinary time back then, when Ezekiel could speak to those bones, and those bones would get muscle and flesh and come all the way back alive. You know, he was speaking those words because he was really pretty sad. His whole culture had ended in a way. His nation had gone into captivity in Babylon, and he was mourning the loss of a lot of loved ones. And so, when you think about it, it was a great vision of hope, really, because it was telling him that all is not lost. Even when things look pretty dire, something miraculous can happen, and the spirit of life can come through us. He was told to breathe out the spirit of life onto the dry bones, to speak out, so to speak. So it's through us, through our speaking of our hopes and our love, and even our love for our ancestors and those who have died. Speaking out these words of life and hope can make the dry bones rise up. This is no ordinary time. Right now, Halloween. Throughout many cultures at this time of year, there is a carnival, a revelry, a festival. Isn't it kind of strange how in late fall, when everything's kind of dying down, and we're going into this place where the veil is thin between the worlds, that cultures all over the world have chosen to celebrate at this time? I think there's some mystery going on here between life and death. And so that's what we're going to be weaving today, this mystery that we adults are dealing with and that children are beginning to deal with, because even as kids they learn them those songs, them dry bone songs. So, mystery and change are marked by a threshold to the unknown that's unavoidable these days, just like we passed over some kind of a threshold with daylight savings time and so forth in this past night, that time as we knew it actually shifted, and we all got here somehow on time. But at this time of year, we do go into these borderland areas, these liminal zones, and we experience the merging of the known and the unknown. And perhaps we can use this time to open doorways to our own personal and spiritual transformation, because we've got to go into these liminal times for the breath of spirit to be breathed into what lies dormant within us, what's been left undone or long dead, the things in us that can still come to life. There's a wonderful quote that says, "I want to let this lesson sink deep into me. Celebrate being alive, drawing breath, Celebrate that you are achingly sad today and that it will pass. It's good to be able to feel feelings. Celebrate that there was a love so big and so good that it hurt to lose it. That there was a time so sweet that you ache remembering it. Honor the ache of your heart and whatever tears need to fall. Because life is mostly ordinary time, but then there are these extraordinary moments, shot through with light and love and pain and joy. So today on All Souls, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, we celebrate this kind of time. It's a mystery that has all of that wrapped up in it. And we together are going to enter into a ritual of feeling the great truths that we are not alone. We are not alone. That those who have passed on are still somehow mysteriously with us, like Alice Walker, the poet, said, though we may feel alone, we never really are. The ancestors rest on our shoulders always.
You're an angel, you're a being of light, you're an angel, and I know that I'm right. You're an angel, bringing love to everyone, and it's yours to give, and in the giving comes the fun.
Let's stand up and sing it together.
You're an angel, you're a being of light, you're an angel, and I know that I'm right. You're an angel, bringing love to everyone, and it's yours to give. And in the giving comes the fun.
Now this next time as we sing it, I want you to think about those that have gone before you. Your mom, your dad, if they're not with us anymore, your grandparents, aunts and uncles, friends, mentors, teachers. And sing out to them, you're an angel. You're somebody who blessed my life. You gave me life at the very least. And though we no longer see you here, someday we will see through this glass that we see through darkly now, and we'll see face to face. And all the veils will fall away, and we'll be known even as we are known through the eyes of love. So see them right now through the eyes of love and sing to our departed loved ones. You're an angel.
You're an angel. You're a being of light, you're an angel, and I know that I'm right. You're an angel, bringing love to everyone, and it's yours to give, and in the giving comes the fun.
Do it one more time to the ancestors. Now that you're learning the song.
You're a being of light, you're an angel, and I know that I'm right. You're an angel, bringing love to everyone, and it's yours to give, and in the giving comes the
Right
fun.
now, that's Ron Hansen. And Ron, would you just stand up and raise your hand for a minute? And he's an angel to us because he's going to do this wonderful workshop on manifesting on November 8th, which is next Saturday. And I took this workshop a few years ago, and it's really profound and deep, and it changes your life in terms of getting real about manifesting what you need and what others need you to manifest in your life. So please come next Saturday, November 8th, and talk to Ron about it afterwards. And there's a flyer in the back about it too, so thank you so much. And now we're going to actually create an altar. I sent out on the email to invite you to bring pictures of your loved ones who have gone on. Did anybody bring any pictures? Some people? Just one? Okay, two. It's okay, we'll have a few pictures, but the rest of you too can just use this time to connect our souls to the souls of our loved ones, our family and friends, mentors, teachers, like I said, even more deeply. Just use this service today to try to recreate this Mexican holiday of El Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, by not trying to do what they do, but just drawing on the wisdom of it, the wisdom of remembering our dead and of taking a moment to think about death. So in Mexico and other Latin American countries, they have this combination of Catholic and indigenous traditions that they do. On November 1st, they use it for remembering the children who have died. And November 2nd is for the adults who have died. And then at the end of November 2nd, which would be today in the evening, then they all go to the cemeteries and they take food and they celebrate in the cemeteries. And they have music and dancing and parties in the cemeteries. And they bring special food and bread with skeletons and bones on them and candles made out of skeletons. And they take the leftover food from the ceremony and they give it to the hungry in their town. They give it to the poor at food banks or homeless that they know of. So isn't that a nice custom? That they really do feed those who are in need, as well as symbolically giving the favorite foods to the ancestors. So our close connections to the earth and to the source of life in nature, is the kind of spirituality that we like to honor here. And we also honor the diving deep into the dark void of the divine feminine, where our creativity arises from. So we have this sense of rebirth that is possible not just through our Judeo-Christian teachings of resurrection, but also we expand out to these other indigenous teachings and Hindu and Buddhist teachings about reincarnation, and all of these spiritual teachings we bring together here. And we don't tell you what you have to believe about death or what happens, but we celebrate the natural cycles of birth, life, death, rebirth, knowing that just as nature repeats its cycles, so somehow mysteriously our life goes through these cycles. One sense of afterlife, then, is both that our eternal souls do go beyond these bodies, but also that our good deeds that we do with one another here, leave a legacy behind us. So we try to develop healthy attitudes toward death that help us to approach death nobly, as Natalie did when she saw the light coming toward her, as Elma did, as Paul and Sipko did, and others in our midst who have recently gone through this great portal in amazing and healthy ways, and their relatives who remain behind, like Carolyn, Sipko's wife, were impressed by how they do what they do. So we're so thankful to be with these kinds of ancestors who have done, what is that name of your book that you're writing, Carolyn? A Death Well Lived? A Death Well Lived. A Death Well Lived. These kind of people, us kind of people in our midst, give us hope. So while the music plays on this CD that I'm having played for us, the reason I'm having this CD played is because on Halloween night I went to this wonderful ritual in the community building over there by the park, and there was a group of folk musicians there playing folk songs around the Day of the Dead from all over the world. And I bought the CD afterwards. And so this is a folk song that has the feeling of the Day of the Dead in it. And while the music is playing, those of you who have the pictures to bring and put on the altar, please do. And those of you that are remaining in your seats, I'd like you to be thinking of the names of ancestors that you'd like to call forth here. And in just a moment, we're going to do a ritual of actually calling them forth. So enjoy this folk music from the Day of the Dead while we create the altar in our sacred space. Josh. we do choose to lift our hands up, almost feeling the veils that we can part, and allow the ancestors to come present here. We call out to you, those ones that we've placed pictures of on the altar, and those ones that we hold dear in our hearts. And I'd like you actually to take it a little bit further right now, and one at a time, whoever wants to, stand to your feet and say the names of some of your departed ones that you would like to call and be present here, until I get a sense that everyone has stood who wants to, and then we will do a Jewish Kaddish of remembrance. So stand one at a time and call forth your ancestors.
I call forth my mother, Barbara Mark. She wrote these books on angels. She was an amazing spiritual being. And today is her birthday.
Stay standing, one at a time, and we'll all be standing. We welcome all of those that we've called forth and all the ones that we have not spoken but hold dear in our hearts. We know that in some mysterious way, as we reach out to them, they are able to feel our energies, and people all over the planet through hundreds of years, thousands of years have known this, that we can connect. Though we may feel alone, we never really are. The ancestors rest on our shoulders always. So feeling their presence is here, as we heard prophesied that they really are here with us right now. You can feel the air thicken. Native people in this part of the world used to do the ghost dances every year, where they would take the time to call in their ancestors just like we're doing and dance with them. And right now, as Richard plays this wonderful instrument, just let the emotions come in your heart. And if you want to let out some sounds, speak to them, whisper to them, say some things to them, cry, do whatever you need to do to really be with them right now in this precious moment. And then we'll end it with this Kaddish prayer. So just speak to them right now. Oh. We remember you. We remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. Let's just say that together. We remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. So for those who have gone before us, who loved, shaped, and nurtured us, we remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. For the unknown ancestors who risked the journey for their children's children to this land, we remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. For the unsung saints and martyrs whose lives and deaths blazed the way for us, we remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. For those before us who struggled for justice and racial and religious harmony, and for those before us who suffered persecution, injustice, slavery, and bigotry, we remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. For those who died before we were ready to let them go, for those who died with words left unsaid between us, we remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. For those who fought death and did not want to go, and for those who sought death and found release, we remember you, dearly departed. Rest in peace. For all those, we the living, carry them with us in our hearts. We are their voices, we are their hands, we are their love in the world. May it be so. May it be so. And remain standing as we sing this next song, or you can be seated if you need to.
are the old ones, and we are the new ones, and we are the same